What's up, folks? I'm Private Hudson, and this is Camp Canyonwood, or as I like to call it, Child Slave Labor Simulator. In this game, you take on a role of a camp counselor tasked with improving and making a profit out of a rundown camp. Your goal is to ensure that the kids who attend each summer have a great time while earning badges, which leads to more payment from their parents and allows you to expand the camp. The game follows a 7-day summer cycle, and that's where the adventure begins. Camp Canyonwood seems to draw inspiration from 3 games, in my opinion. The devs, of course, could have had their own inspiration. First, there's the distinctive art style reminiscent of Don't Starve, which I absolutely love. Next, there's an obscure zombie survival game called Undying, where a mother teaches her son how to survive during her final moments because she's infected. Similarly, in Camp Canyonwood, you teach the kids various activities by demonstrating them yourself, and then they try to do it on their own. Last but not least, the game takes some inspiration from Animal Crossing. Now, I must admit, I've only played the Switch version of the game, and it didn't click with me at all. In Camp Canyonwood, you'll find yourself performing daily tasks like talking to kids, interacting with coworkers, and tidying up the camp every single day while gathering resources to construct new structures and completing quests that your coworkers give you. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of Animal Crossing was the never-ending hunt for seashells and other crap to sell just to pay off Tom Nook's extortionate fees, just so you could expand your house by a square foot. All that stuff is present here as well. In fact, all of your co-workers seem to be a bunch of Nook the Crooks. To unlock new buildings, you'll need to fulfill the requests of your coworkers. Initially, it's not so bad, with tasks like picking up 30 pieces of garbage or delivering 20 cooked fish. However, things quickly escalate as you're sent on scavenger hunts for random plants that seem to appear randomly, and they all look similar, making it challenging to distinguish one from another. There should be like a little tooltip above each plant so you know what you're about to forage and collect before you clog up your inventory with garbage. And then there's the guy who requires you to gather a whopping 150 pieces of wood, 150 pieces of stone, and like 300 trash to unlock the next set of items and structures. The grind is insane. Now you might be thinking that since you have a crew of kids following you, you can assign them these tasks and they can, do the child slave labor for you. Well, you're partially correct. As you perform actions, your character skills improve as well. The problem lies in managing the kids, which is beyond frustrating. So you can place structures specifically designed for campers to deposit resources like wood, stone, and food, but guess what? They never use them. At first I thought I was doing something wrong. I discovered that you can use the sledgehammer to destroy or move structures, but it turns out you can't do that in the staff area, only in the northern camp section. The staff area already had a designated place for wood and rocks, and I even placed a cooler next to the lake for fish, but it went unused. It's a strange design choice to allow structure placement in an area that's unmodifiable, really. So I ended up rebuying the structures and placing them in the campsite, and they still never use them. As a result, you end up playing inventory Tetris with the kids every morning and throughout the day. If they spend the entire day fishing but get hungry, guess what? Check their inventory, take out the fish from every single one, and then go grill it. One thing they do use consistently is the tools shed. They just love returning the tools you give them. It's the only one they actually use, along with occasionally using the garbage can. Trust me, it's incredibly frustrating and renders the game practically unplayable. Camp Canyonwood has been in early access for about a year, and the devs have been working on updates. However, it seems their primary focus has been on adding new sections to the campsite. I would suggest that they concentrate on making the core gameplay loop functional before expanding the game further. Because after playing for only 4 hours, I haven't had the chance to explore any of these new areas because the game just doesn't work. It simply does not work. There are other issues as well. Sometimes a kid runs into a snake, and despite their inability to escape or your inability to kill the snake, you can give them a bandage to heal themselves, which they don't always use. So they sit there, so you keep getting a notification, an alert that the kid's health is at 0 and you can't do anything about it. At one point I fell through the lake, but there's an unstuck button, so I guess the devs are aware of this issue. On the 7th day, when the kids leave, they take everything in their inventory with them, and there is no warning about this, so say goodbye to your tools and resources. You can't assign specific tasks to kids. When you ask them to forage a plant, a random one does it, even if they dislike the task, resulting in their fun meter decreasing because they're doing something they don't enjoy. Performance-wise, the game is abysmal. It defaults to 480p, God knows why, every time I launch it, and despite the options menu showing various supported resolutions and refresh rates, anything above 60 Hz doesn't work. Additionally, the game stutters and fluctuates between 30 and 60 FPS in my case, and it just seems like another case of indie devs struggling to optimize their game properly while using the Unity engine. There's another issue where if I'm playing with a controller, I can actually zoom out, but I can't zoom out with the mouse and keyboard for some sort of reason. And of course, I can't get the bear to kill the kids or attack them. They simply stand around it and fall down and get scared. At one point, I did manage to lead the bear back to the campsite, but the bear is afraid of light, so it just stood next to the tent while we hung around the campfire. Sometimes kids bully each other, and aside from physically picking up the bully, there's nothing else you can do. You can't scold or reprimand them for their behavior. The in-game guide is broken, with placeholder text or data not being pulled correctly from a file or something like that. That's what I'm assuming. The quest tracker is equally useless. As you can see in this clip, only one of the quests shows what I need to do, leaving me clueless about how many thousands of dingleberries I need to collect for the other co-workers. And although the game features unique dialogue, you need to talk to the campers every day to improve your relationship with them. Unfortunately, after about 4 hours, I've noticed that 80% of the dialogue is recycled. The developers have added new biomes like snow, desert, and wetlands, as well as mysterious occurrences around the campsite. However, due to the game's broken gameplay, I'm not going to experience any of these features. I'm not going to spend my time farming 8,000 rocks for a quest that I can't even see, and digging through every single kid's inventory to get the resources I need just to unlock the next tool or structure. Their priorities need to be realigned. Fix the bugs, address the performance issues, and make the core gameplay loop actually functional. The grind would be much more manageable if the storage, structures, and quest markers worked. Camp Canyonwood is currently available on Steam for $20. I purchased it for significantly less in a Fanatical bundle, but regardless of what price point it's at, I cannot recommend it in this state. Maybe in a year or two, the game will be playable.